Hey everyone, CornerPinoyX here once again, back with another Monster Hunter video. In today's video, what we are going to take a look at are some features that I would personally like to see make it when it comes to the next Monster Hunter game. Now with the announcement of the next generation consoles, it's more than likely that Capcom themselves are developing the next Monster Hunter title for the mainline series for the next generation of consoles coming up this 2020 or when it comes to 2021, depending on the situation when it comes to releasing these consoles. Now having said that, they may also be developing themselves a new Monster Hunter game for the Nintendo Switch as well, and in this video, what we are going to be taking a look at are some features that I would personally like to see come up when it comes to the next Monster Hunter game, whether it be for next generation consoles or for the Nintendo Switch. Now if you enjoyed these videos, please consider leaving a like on the video itself and subscribing to the channel so you can go ahead and catch up on any other content that I might be doing in future. Now let's take a look at some features that I would personally like to see in a future Monster Hunter game. The first key feature that I would like to see Capcom add when it comes to a future Monster Hunter game is none other than a raid monster or a raid quest. Now in this particular case scenario, we do have sieges in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne. However, these are not raid experiences, these are different. The key aspect about raids is that it will send in an entire army of players against one creature. This means that if we're looking into a raid system when it comes to future Monster Hunter games, we can have well up to 16 players in groups of 4 each going into that one monster and fighting it under one locale. So I'm really hoping that this is something that Capcom can potentially add in the next Monster Hunter game to really make that online experience really awesome, because now we're looking into up to 16 players under one locale fighting one ultimate monster. The next feature that I would like Capcom to introduce in the next mainline game is not really a feature in any way, shape or form, but rather an extension of what we currently have, which is a new weapon type. One of the biggest things about Monster Hunter 4 and 4 Ultimate is the introduction of 2 new weapon types in the series, which are Charge Blade as well as the Insect Glaive. In Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, we didn't really get anything new in terms of weapon types. However, we did get some new movesets for these particular weapons that currently exist in the game itself as a whole. Having said that, if they are going to be extending the 5th generation with the next Monster Hunter game, I'm really hoping that a new weapon type gets introduced into the series. Some people might like to see the Tonfa or the Magnet Spike from Monster Hunter Frontier. However, for me personally, I would like to see Capcom themselves actually create something new rather than bring back the Tonfas or the Magnet Spikes from Frontier into the mainline series. So a new weapon type is definitely welcome in the next Monster Hunter game. A feature from Monster Hunter World and Iceborne that I'm really hoping continues in future Monster Hunter games is the Turf War mechanic. Now this particular feature really shows how monsters interact with one another within specific locales. The greatest thing about Turf Wars is that rather than just seeing these monsters interact in like a cutscene or something, we're actually seeing them interact in real time as we're hunting monsters. This means that we get to experience firsthand as players what these monsters are like when they start facing off one another, not just facing off against hunters. So I'm really hoping that this is something that becomes a staple in future Monster Hunter games. Alongside this, we also have the bond mechanic of Lunastra and Teostra that I'm really hoping they evolve to other monsters in the series, such as the Rathalos and the Rathian. Overall, I'm really hoping that Turf Wars and the bond system become a staple in future Monster Hunter games, meaning that every future Monster Hunter games will always have them. A feature that I would like to see make a return from Monster Hunter Generations and Gen Ultimate is hunting style and hunter arts. Now in this case scenario, I'm mostly focused on hunting style, because when it comes to hunting style, if we don't get a new weapon type in the next Monster Hunter game, at the very least, we get different ways to play the different weapon types that we currently have in the series overall. This means that even though we're not getting a new weapon type, everyone is going to have a different experience with the existing weapon type in the game itself, because different styles means different gameplay. Now Hunter Arts I'm not too bothered about, simply because of the fact that Hunter Arts are meant to be super special moves in the game itself. So whether they implement that in a future Monster Hunter game or not, that remains to be seen, but hunting style is the main focus when it comes to a feature that I would like to see return from Monster Hunter Generations and Gen Ultimate. Now alongside this, when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne, I always see the Clutch Claw as a form of hunting style. And the reason for this is because certain people don't actually use the Clutch Claw in its entirety because they just don't like the way the feature works. And if they convert that into a hunting style where people can equip the Clutch Claw, others don't have to, then by that extension, if people don't like the Clutch Claw in its entirety, they can completely omit it in their playstyle by having a completely different hunting style to everyone else who may like the Clutch Claw. So overall, hunting style will definitely omit people from using the Clutch Claw in its entirety if they don't want to use it. The next feature that I'm really hoping Capcom adds back into future Monster Hunter games, especially if you're a solo player, is the ability to pause the game when you're playing offline. Now, one of the key issues that I have when it comes to Monster Hunter World and Iceborne is that we can't actually pause the game. In previous Monster Hunter games, if you needed to take a break from the game itself, you can pause it and then go back to it afterwards without any repercussion of your time getting shortened. However, in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, this is no longer the case. So I'm really hoping that when it comes to future Monster Hunter games, Capcom doesn't treat it as purely online. They do add back the ability to pause the game when you're playing solo offline. The final feature that I would like to see Capcom add when it comes to the next Monster Hunter game is a genuine photo mode where it actually freezes the game so we can take photos of the different monsters or our hunters during mid-combat. Now, if there's one thing that I genuinely dislike when it comes to view mode is that sometimes I'm trying to take a video of a monster and then all of a sudden either my camera just completely gets restricted or the monster starts moving around, or even worst case scenarios, the monsters actually attack me. Now, if we had a dedicated photo mode that is only available when we're playing offline, then we may be able to get some of those stills that we want when it comes to fighting monsters. Maybe we can get some dynamic photos when we're actually fighting the monster where we're doing something like the Spirit Helmbreaker and then we can freeze frame that and take a photo of it. But as of right now, that's not really available in the game, so I'm really hoping in future Monster Hunter games, a dedicated photo mode is available to us only if we're playing in offline mode. So disable it in online mode, re-enable it when you're playing offline. Now that is pretty much it for this video, covering some of the key features that I would personally like to have when it comes to future Monster Hunter games. Overall, this is a mixture of existing features that we have in previous generation games, as well as Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and certain features that currently don't exist in the mainline series but may do so during spin-offs. Overall, I'm hoping that Capcom takes into consideration some of the features that I've mentioned and we get to experience an awesome new Monster Hunter game either for the next generation of consoles or for the Nintendo Switch. Is there any features that I haven't mentioned yet in this video that you think Capcom should add when it comes to the next Monster Hunter game? Let us know in the comments below what kind of features you would like to see when it comes to future Monster Hunter games. Now that is pretty much it for me for this video. If you enjoyed these videos, please consider leaving a like on the video itself and subscribing to the channel as well as hitting that bell icon so you can go ahead and catch up on any future Monster Hunter content that I might be doing or any other games that I might be playing in future. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Onward and upward.